morning, everyone. We are excited, Jean-Philippe and I. So today it's the last podcast about the subject of our book. So as you know, since a couple of week and month, we are covering the book, The Six Pillar of Self-Esteem. Do you remember, Jean-Philippe, when we start that book?
Oh my, I don't remember, like maybe 6 months ago?
I think so. I think it was during the fall or something like this.
Yeah.
And I think it was the end of summer. Yeah. So 6 months, yeah, more than that, and we learned so much. And today we say, okay, you know what? We are going to do, let's say, just a wrap up of this book. So today we want to revise the sixth pillar and the definition of self-esteem, and of course, we are going to give you our takeaway with that book. So Shafet is going to come back later. See you soon. So that book is so was so good because it helps me to understand what is self-esteem. Okay, because um, when we start, we start to. I asked Jean Philippe, okay, what do you think is the definition of self esteem? So he gave me his definition, and I give him my definition. And when we read the real definition, so I was surprised that there's two dimension, and I say, oh my God, yes, of course, this is so good. Okay, so what is self esteem for you? Okay, so self esteem, it's uh, first of all, the confidence in my ability to think and cope with the challenge of life. Okay, so let's say I am facing a new challenge, something that I've never done in my life. So let's say I'm a new recruit. Okay, and now I have to do my first picture and post them, and I never use Facebook, let's say. Okay, so of course you need self-esteem because you're gonna say, okay, this is a challenge, I can do it, I am able, okay, I can think, I did something similar, or okay, the example was not good with posting a picture, but let's say you have to do a live or you have to do something that you never did in your life. Okay, so when you have ability in your, when you have, I always say, rocks in your pockets, that means, okay, let's say you have success, you did a task and you have a success, so you take, let's say, a rock and you put in your pocket. So next time when you are going to face something similar or something that it's new, so you're gonna remember, oh yes, I did that, so I have the power to do it. Okay, so confidence in my ability to think and cope with the challenge of life. So I tell myself, okay, I can learn, I can adjust. So someone with low self-esteem constantly doubt their own judgment. So is going to say, okay, I'm not sure I can do this. Oh, probably other people can do it better than me. Okay, I'll wait to someone for someone to tell me what to do. Okay, so this is when you have more low esteem. But when you're have a healthy self-esteem, so you're gonna say, okay, I will analyze this. Okay, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to make a decision. Okay, so it's going to be easier for you to do a new task when you have self-esteem. Okay, so that was the first component of self-esteem. Hello, Sherry, good morning. And the second one, okay, and this is the one that we didn't see, Jean-Philippe. So we were surprised when we read that second part of the definition. So confidence in our ability is the first one. The number two is the conviction that we deserve happiness. And when I read that, I say, oh my God, this is so true, because you have so many people that, okay, they seems that they have confidence. Okay, they can do everything um, with challenge, but when you they don't have that belief that these deserve happiness, they deserve love. So you're gonna see some people, they are highly performant, let's say at work, but in their real life, okay, it's a mess. Okay, they don't have um, friendship. They okay, because they think that they don't deserve this. So this is something that, oh my god, there's two dimension in that definition, and for us it was a real surprise. Okay, but okay, so let's say um, you don't have that feeling that you deserve this. Okay, so you're gonna sabotage your relationship. Okay, sometimes you're gonna minimize your success. Okay, sometimes you're going to apologize, let's say, just for existing. Why? Because deep down, okay, they don't believe that they deserve love. They don't they deserve success. They don't deserve respect, stability, everything. Okay, so when you receive, let's say, gonna give you a real example. Okay, so you are in a relationship, okay, and you receive genuine love. Okay, but if your self-esteem is fragile, so they think, okay, if they really knew me, maybe he's going to leave me. Okay, oh, why is he loving a person like me? Okay, I'm not the best one, I'm not the more beautiful one. Okay, so you are going constantly to doubt. Okay, so this is why self-esteem is so important, and you need to work on your self-esteem every day. So how can we work on our self-esteem? It's the with the pillar of self-esteem. Okay, so we have the first pillar. So how can we increase our consciousness, and how can we be more confident and have more self-esteem? Number one, it's living consciously. Okay, so this is the first pillar, because we cannot respect ourselves if we avoid reality. Okay, living consciously means to see facts like they are. Okay, they have to see consequences, they have to see strengths, they have to see mistakes, they have to see that they have emotion. Okay, it means refusing avoidance. So let's say you with your finance, okay, you are someone who accumulate debt. Okay, so living unconsciously mean, okay, I'm going to ignore that fact that I received my statement. Okay, no, 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 I don't want to see it. Okay, oh, I'm going to avoid that I have I didn't pay my tenant, so my landlord, my landlord. Okay, so I'm not going to answer phone. Okay, I'm hoping that it's going to resolve. Maybe next month it's gonna work. Okay, so this is, you're not living, you're living unconsciously. Okay, but when you live consciously, so you're going to look at the number, you're going to review your account, you're going to understand the situation, you're going to create a plan. Okay, and you need to be in control. Okay, so awareness cannot, no, awareness can be uncomfortable, but it creates power. Okay, so the um, when you take the horn, no, when you take the bull by the horn, so you are in control. Okay, so make sure to live consciously. Okay, look at the consequence. Let's say you are looking at your business doesn't do good right now. Okay, it's not just the economy, what can you do to improve that? Okay, so this is the first pillar, very important, living consciously. Second pillar is self-acceptance. This is the probably the most misunderstood pillar. Okay, self-acceptance does not mean complacency, staying the same, or excusing mistakes. Self-acceptance means acknowledging that what is true about without self-hatred. Okay, so let's say you feel jealous in your relationship. Okay, so when you have a low self-esteem, you're going to say, I should not feel this, I am bad. Okay, but when you have a healthy self-esteem, you're going to say, Okay, I feel jealous. Why? Okay, so now you're gonna try to understand why you have that feeling of jealousy. Okay, acceptance allows reflection, rejection block growth. Let's say you make a significant error at work. Okay, so when you have low self-esteem, you're gonna say, "Oh, I am incompetent." Okay, when you have good self-acceptance, you're gonna say, "Oh, I made a mistake. So now what can I learn from that mistake?" Okay, so it's going to help you to progress. Okay, and when you condemn yourself, you're going to paralyze yourself. So but when you accept that you make a mistake, okay, so you are ready to progress, to go to the next level. Okay, let's say in many culture. So part of ourselves may be discouraged. Okay, so you let's say in certain culture, so okay, you cannot look at the people, you cannot talk too loud. Okay, you have too much ambition. Okay, so accepting who you are, okay, your value, your ambition, your identity, so it require courage. Okay, so you need self-acceptance and to let's say just to flourish to your best version of yourself. Okay, so this is very important, self-acceptance. Okay, the third pillar, if you want to build your self esteem, it's the self responsibility. Okay, so we have to emphasize that um, no one is going to live my life. Okay, for me, responsibility means I am responsible for my choices. I am responsible all the way I answer my spouse. I am responsible for my personal development. I am responsible for where I am today. Okay. And if I want to change my trajectory for tomorrow, so I need to act today. Okay. So it's I am responsible mindset. Okay. So this is so important. So let's say we have two entrepreneur. Okay, one fail. Okay, he made something and it doesn't make work. Okay, so probably his reaction will be, okay, the system is against me. Okay, the economy is not good, the government doesn't help me. Okay, the weather was not good. Okay, so you always blame others, you always blame the circumstance. Okay, the second, with healthy self-esteem, is going to say, okay, now what do I need to improve, what can I do? Okay, I know that I didn't put many effort in that area. Okay, I'm gonna correct this. Okay, I didn't try this. Okay, oh, I have a new idea, I'm going to act on it. So this is how you take responsibility. Okay, you decide that you are in charge. It's not the government, it's not the weather. Okay, you are responsible for your own happiness, for your own success at work. Okay, this is your responsibility. um, let's say you say always say, I don't have time. Okay, so this is something that you're telling, okay, you're not responsible. Okay, but when you say, okay, my priority reflects my choices. Okay, that realization can be uncomfortable, but it's liberating. Okay, if you decide that you are going to watch 20 hours of TV, okay, so you're not going to make 20 hours of something else. Okay, you're not going at the gym. Okay, so you decide what you are going to do, so you are responsible. So this is a pillar very important, of course, and sometimes it's very hard to say, okay, I am responsible of that, okay, it could be very difficult, but you know what, it's the truth. Okay, we have to take charge of our life, we are the driver of her own bus, and this is why sometimes it's art, but it's the art truth. Okay, so that was the first three pillars. So now, Jean-Philippe, can you cover the next three pillar?
Yes. So here are the last three pillar of the six. So I'm going to start with self-assertiveness. Okay. So for the author, this is not about being arrogant. Okay. It's the principle look very simple, but there is something very, very important in it. Okay, so it's the refusal to fake the reality of who I am or what I think in order to avoid someone else's disapproval. So, in other words, it's the courage to fully inhabit the space of my own existence. So, it's all about respecting your needs, your value, your opinion, and expressing them in an appropriate way. So the key element here, okay, is what most of the times people say about self-assertiveness is that they confuse self-assertiveness with aggressiveness. Aggressive, aggressiveness is wanting to take the other person place. Self assertiveness is daring to take your own place even when it's inconvenient. So it's a fundamental pillar because every time that you stay silent and you know that you should have speak or you know that you should have said yes or you should have said no, you're sending a destructive message to your unconscious. So you're accepting that you're not living the way that you should be and that you didn't take the place that was there for you. Okay, so it's your unconscious. You say to them, what I think, what I feel doesn't matter. And in the long term, it could be very devastating for your self esteem. So let's just take a quite simple example. Okay, so let's say that you're going out to the restaurant with some of your friends. Okay, everybody agrees that they want to go to a trendy new restaurant, but you feel very exhausted that week. Okay, and you want to go in a more quieter restaurant. Okay, the passive approach will be you say nothing, you follow the group, even if you know that you don't want to go there. The aggressive approach would say this is nonsense, that new restaurant sucks, and you just like losing your mind. In both of those approach, unfortunately, this will affect, okay, your self-esteem. But if you have self-assertiveness, you will say, guys, I don't feel like going to that place. Maybe we should go to the other place. But if you really want to go there, maybe I will just like catch up with you after. I will join you like for the dessert. So you respect yourself, you respect what others, but you don't compromise what you really want. So you express your truth without aggressiveness. So it's really important to make the distinction. Assertiveness is affirm who you are in the right way. And remember, it changes depending on what is the situation and the environment you are in. Pillar number five, living purposefully. Okay, so living purposefully is defined this way. Okay, so it's living in terms of clear goals, identifying the action necessary to achieve them, monitoring your progress, and remain flexible to adapt. So, well, this is something that we talk a lot in our MLM. So, you set your goal, you set your action, you monitor your progress, you adapt it, and you start over again. This is what purpose look like. Okay, so what is important here in that notion is really the directed action. Okay, so we're not only talking about achieving big life goals, okay, overnight. We're talking here about having a structure for your life. So, our mind, we need that grip on reality because if you're passive in it, okay, a lot of people say, I will just go with the flow. Well, do you know what? Okay, go with the flow. Okay, you never know where it's going to lead you. If you are on a river, if there is like current, but there is a waterfall, like you will just go there and you say, oh, this is where like life bring me, okay, on the precipice. But no, we really want to have that control. As Sylvain said, you are responsible, okay, of it. So when you have a goal, even if it's a modest one, okay, you need to really take action on it. Okay. So it's not only about achieving it, but it's really that process. Okay, that is important. It's that this appreciation of the process of knowing that you identify your goal, you look for your action, you monitor them, and then you change what was not good about it. Okay. So when people say, okay, I want to get in shape, I want to make more money, this is not a goal. Okay. But saying, I want to be able to run a 5 kilometer, okay, in 3 months, this is a very specific goal, because more specific the goal it is, remember, like SMART's goal, more easier it will be to identify action. So then you can say, I'm going to run 20 minutes like twice a week. I'm going to evaluate myself after a month to see if I made progress on the time. And I'm going to adapt it. I can like add another moment. I can adjust my plan. I can change my diet. I can like go swimming. I can go do something else. So only if your goal is very specific that you can really, okay, be in that principle of living purposefully, because you will now be action driven by action. And finally, pillar number 6, it's personal integrity. Okay. So for Nathaniel Brandon, this is like what he called the cement of any other. Don't laugh at me. Okay. So it's the cement, the cement of like all of the other pillar. Okay. So integrity is the integrity is the congruence between what we know, what we profess, and what we do. So here it's what we call alignment. Okay, it's when our action don't betray our values. It's when there is no gap between our words and our practice. So are you aligned in what you believe and what you actually do? So the key element here, okay, is the reliability on your own eyes. So what does it mean? Okay, so the elements say that integrity is not primarily a matter of social morality, it's the biology of self-esteem. Because if you know that you're doing something against yourself, against your value, against what you against your principle, you will be the one knowing it, and you will not be able to function, okay, the right way in society. So when I say one thing and I do another, I compromise my value. Okay, the entity, okay, is actually failing. So I am forced, okay, to conclude about myself that I am not reliable, okay, that I cannot hold my promises, I can do something different. So what will happen? Not only people around you will stop trusting you, but you will stop trusting yourself. Okay. So when you lack integrity, okay, it's really, really damageable for your self-esteem. Okay. So I don't think that I need to give you a lot of example here to help you understand that principle, but let's just say that you say, I'm going to bed early tonight. It's 11 p.m. and you start scrolling on your phone like for an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. Well, just that little, okay, disagreement with yourself can affect your self-esteem in the long term. But if you say, okay, I'm quitting smoking, okay, and one of your friend is offering you a cigarette, okay, and like you thought yourself, oh, nobody will know, but you are the one that will know, and you refuse, then you are going in accordance to what are your principles. So those were the last three pillars that we've covered. So if we are looking at what we've learned, okay, throughout that book, okay, so I want to make an analogy about what are the 6 pillars of self-esteem. So see that as an architect metaphor. So imagine self-esteem as a house that you build yourself, okay, brick by brick, day by day. The first 3 pillars are the foundation and the load bearing wall. So, consciousness is the blueprint of the house. Self Self acceptance is accepting the land on which you build with its strengths and weaknesses. Responsibility is recognizing that you are the sole general contractor on the site. No one will build this house for you. And the last three pillars are the living space. So self assertiveness is daring to invite people into your home and being yourself, being your own door. Living purposefully is knowing that each room will be used for having a plan for your house. And integrity is the solidity of the material. It's making sure the house doesn't collapse at the first storm because you use cardboard to save money. Okay? So, really understand that self esteem will be built brick by brick, day by day, action by action. Okay? So, throughout this book, throughout that podcast, we didn't promise you that it will be without suffering or doubt. Okay? On the contrary, there's many questions that can remain. But if you have to learn something from it, okay, is to ask yourself that question. What action in my life do I intend to take, but I'm not taking right now? So it's hard sometimes to create clarity around you and around yourself if you're not in an environment that suggests, okay, that reflection for you. So maybe your first action will be to declutter your space, declutter your house. Be sure to get rid of things that don't have value, that don't help you to keep that clarity. Because if you are in an environment, in a space that has much more clarity and that feel free, of course, you will be able to look to those six pillars that we've just covered and take action for something new to change your life and build your self esteem. So this is what finished our segment on this book. Sylvain and I haven't decided yet what will be the next book that we will cover for the podcast, but soon as we know it, we are going to let you know. So thank you so much, Guy, for being with us throughout this book of the six pillar of self esteem, and we will see you at another time. Bye, everyone.